So funny story today. I look at the calendar and realize that it's the fourth anniversary of our business, and I totally forgot. And it brought to mind actually a lot of conversations that I have with moms about we're always looking ahead and we're always looking at what's next. I very much remember with my oldest just checking through milestones like, okay, when's he going to walk again? Or when's he going to walk? When's he going to crawl? When's he going to eat food? Like all of these things. And I very much remember being super focused on what was next. And because there were so many milestones and they came so quickly, it was very easy to get hyper focused on that. And I sort of recognize that in myself. I'm focusing on all the things that are coming up, the things that I'm excited to launch and talk about and help moms. And it's so important to sometimes just stop and look at how far you've come. And I think in the context of working with moms, I can't tell you how many times that a mom will come in and say, oh, well, I just did this or I just did that. And come in almost apologizing that and feeling down that they haven't gotten any further. And I'm that person, ironically, I am that person to say, hey, remember when you first came in and this is what was going on. So one I'm thinking of in particular, before 12 weeks, postpartum was very symptomatic and really worried about returning to work. And her work was very manual and active. And when you have symptoms, whether it's leakage, pressure, pain, whatever it is, that can be really scary and you think that that's forever. And she progressed really quickly, actually a lot quicker than most. And by the end of 2 months, she was running up to 5 miles relatively asymptomatically, but hadn't been back to the gym yet. And lifting heavy weights, which are very, very different things. And so she was really down on herself about that. And I'm like, hey, look, like, not for nothing, when you walked in here, you weren't even sure that you were going to be able to run or do your job again, to the point where she actually delayed her return to work. And so all that goes to say is we have to stop, and this is me telling myself this too right now, it's incredibly important to stop and remember how far you've come. And I think if we don't, we really can't grasp how much we've grown, how much we've put into something, and really just appreciate that. I think we get caught up in, oh, our kids have come so far and whatnot. That goes away a little bit when they get older, but I'm finding myself doing it more now. In those transition points, like my son's finishing up elementary school, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like I feel like you just started. Stop and look back. Remember what it felt like in the beginning. It's okay to feel those feels. It's okay to remember what it was like, because I think it makes it so much sweeter when we can look and see how far we've come and we've achieved those goals. So that was a little reminder for me today. And again, it's one of those things that, I use with clients all the time. I always want to remind them how far they've come, but forgot myself. So I'm going to spend a few minutes today reflecting on 4 years in business, half of which were in a pandemic. So I think that's part of the reason time really has no meaning right now. But to reflect how far I've come, and so that I can keep doing that for my clients. So what I am encouraging you, if you are a mom, I want you to think back on something that you couldn't do, those first couple days postpartum that maybe you're able to do now. Or if you're a postpartum pro, think about what it was like maybe that first time you worked with a pregnant mom or a postpartum mom, and how completely lost and terrified you might have been, and maybe how much better you are now. And I would love to hear those stories. So hit me up in the DMs. I think it's always so nice to hear people when they're able to celebrate their stories and celebrate their wins. And I'm all about that in cheerleading mode. So hit me up in my DMs. Let me know your wins. Take a few seconds to reflect and definitely let me know. So And happy anniversary to me.